What's up everybody? So in today's video we're taking a look at the 2017 Acura NSX. Huge thank you to Foreign Cars Charlotte. They're providing this car for today's video. I'll have the link to their website in the description below. Definitely check them out. They have a huge selection of used supercars like this NSX and then brand new Aston Martins, Maseratis, Bentleys, and Alfa Romeos. So definitely check out their website in the description below. So in today's video we're going to find out, is buying a used NSX now the time to buy one of these things? When these things came out they were right on par with a McLaren 570S or a Lamborghini Huracan, and most people really couldn't justify that. Brand new car sales were horrible for this car. They sat on dealer showrooms. There are still brand new ones sitting on the dealer showrooms for $200,000. However, now in the used market, this thing has some miles on it. It's under 150 grand, and that really puts it into a really good price for a supercar like this. So we got the GoPro all set up. First off, this interior, the color combo is beautiful. We have black Alcantara and then the brown leather. Very, very luxurious interior for this one. And then this one does have the carbon fiber roof panel, giving it a really sweet look to it. We also have carbon ceramic disc brakes. Very nice spec all around, carbon fiber over the engine cover. I always like the way the engines look in these things. And then this is the only trunk. It is only in the rear, nothing up front. So I got my lunchbox. We actually have a pretty decent amount of space. You could fit some luggage in here. Not quite as big as the 458 or the 650S, but still pretty usable. All right, so we are now in the NSX. Now the first time I drove one, I drove about 30 feet, so we're gonna put a little bit more miles on it than that. Foot on the brake like a normal car. Starts up, sounds pretty good when you start it up. Now for this car, of course, this is a hybrid vehicle. We have a twin turbocharged V6 engine and then a hybrid system with batteries and everything. So right now it actually is in EV mode since I'm not moving. So using the dynamic mode selector button or a dial, we can rotate it into different modes. So all the way to the left is quiet mode, which is EV, just pure electric mode. That will be interesting to drive in. One to the right, we're in sport mode. Sport plus mode, engine now started back up because it is purely all the performance. And then if we hold it, that is now full on track mode, which we're not gonna mess with on the road, of course. So let's go into quiet mode, EV mode. Put my foot on the brake. I believe I just hit the D button. So we're in drive, and there is no noise. I am in an electric supercar. So the question of today's video is, now that these things are on the used market, are they worth buying? Because when they were brand new, you know, for $200,000, who's gonna buy an Acura supercar when you could buy a Lamborghini or a McLaren? Now this is a nice car, it's really cool, but the steering wheel, the infotainment setup, the key fob is straight out of an MDX. Nothing wrong with the MDX, but a $40,000 SUV versus a $250,000 supercar, you know, you don't exactly want shared parts. Now one thing, when this car came out, if they had geared it more towards like the original R8 and the GTR, this thing would have been insane. If this was about 130 grand brand new with none of the hybrid stuff, this would have sold like crazy. If you look at the GTR, I have the same window switches as the Nissan Titan. There's nothing special about some of the buttons in the GTR, but for the price point and the performance you get, why not? Same with the Audi R8, it's a lot of Audi, but it looks like a supercar. So with this car, just the price point of new, the shared parts, it was just too much too soon. Nobody was really looking for the NSX to be a budget hypercar. They wanted a budget supercar. This does have technology like you get in a 918 and multi-million-dollar cars, but nobody was looking for that, especially in a car that has shared parts. So now, fast forward a year or so, this is a used car. It's got some miles on it, almost 5,000 miles, under 150,000 bucks. That's not bad. So we're gonna kind of see what this car has to offer. I just got out of the McLaren 650S and the Ferrari 458. This is substantially cheaper than both of those cars. So driving around electric mode is pretty neat. When you give it some gas, the engine does kick in like right there. But if you're back off the gas, it'll kind of revert back to it. But we're gonna go ahead, sport mode, we'll just go into Sport Plus. The engine and exhaust note are much louder. I'm not 100% sure if that is speaker noise or actual engine, but it does sound pretty good. Hitting the D/M button, we will put us into manual mode. So using the paddle shifters. And I believe this is like a 9-speed transmission. It's been a while since I did the full review. Okay, so it's not letting me go into 9th right now. If it is 9, I'm not 100% sure. But we'll try it in Sport Plus. And then real quick, these seats are so comfortable. Like, I have it in a great spot now that I reclined it a little bit, but this is like a luxury GT car when you're just cruising. It's very soft feeling. These seats are very, very comfortable, and the view out is incredible. It's really aggressive looking. So we'll get up, do a little bit of an acceleration. Whoa. I was not expecting that. That sounded good, and that was really quick, and that was barely gunning it. Heard a little bit of blow-off valve noise from the turbos. Now the overall visibility of it, you have really, really good visibility out the front end. The mirrors, they kind of stick out and are their own separate piece, like they're just in midair. You have so much view out there. There's no blind spot right there. The rear view mirror does a great job. I can exactly see the car behind me. Looking over your left and right shoulder, same thing. You have a little window back here which helps in left visibility, and then you have a pretty good view out your right shoulder. So overall, it's easy to drive as far as visibility goes. The armrest, where everything's located, it is just a comfortable car. You can just drive it. It's nothing, you don't seem like you're sacrificing the comfort of a supercar. With this thing, you know, Acura obviously put in their normal car aspects into this car, and you can kind of see that shining through, but it's comfortable just kind of chilling in it right now. So now just cruising in the car, we'll go down into just quiet mode again, and the whole engine and everything just got quieter. It actually just shut off now, so we're back into like electric mode. But I mean, this really is a car you can daily drive. It doesn't have the most practicality. You have a decent sized trunk and no space behind the seats, but I mean, this is genuinely just a comfortable car to cruise in. Well, I think that's about enough of the EV mode. That is definitely a cool thing if you're just around town. You don't want to even have the engine run. You can just kind of cruise it around. But so far, I'm liking the differences you can get with the car. Sport Plus mode sounds so much better now. And make sure we're back into manual mode. But this car really is something that has everything to offer, because of course the electric stuff, all that technology, it can be a comfortable car, not really using any gas. But then the performance level, 0 to 60 is under 3 seconds. It is a full-on supercar, and I'm pretty sure it will walk a Huracan or a 458. Now the overall ergonomics of the car, I do really like. The steering wheel is insanely comfortable. There's like cutouts in the back that kind of push out, and it grips your hand really nicely. It's a really good grip on the steering wheel. You can go around the track, you don't have to worry about your hand like slipping off or anything. It's just a comfortable grip, and then the paddles are exactly where you want them to be. You got more of a square-shaped steering wheel, flatter on the top and the bottom, just gives it a pretty nice look, and then the digital instrument cluster looks really clean. We get a lot of leather everywhere, the Alcantara, so you do get a lot of really good materials. Now we'll kind of get a little bit better understanding of the performance. There's some turbo noises. That sounds really good so far, and that was barely getting on it. So we'll do a quick turn. Man, this is flat. Really similar with the 650S and the 458, but it just takes the turns. Very smooth transmission. That's just goes right through the gears so quickly. I love the little bit of turbo noise this thing has. Now so far I don't really feel the turbos just kicking you in the back like in the GTR or something. This does feel a lot more linear, kind of like the 650S. The brakes on the car are pretty touchy. I know there's a lot of electronics going on with maybe like regenerative braking or something like that, but the brakes work really well. Obviously carbon ceramic, so they're going to do a really good job, but just touch them a little bit, they bite really quickly. So let's get on the highway. We'll do a second gear acceleration. Whoa! And that wasn't even full throttle. That is quick. I was not expecting that. Wow. That is impressive. That reminds me a little bit of the GTR. It just kind of kicks you and goes, but this had more top end. The electric power, wow. Wow. I don't really know what to say to that, but that is quick. That's really cool because with the turbo engine, you have the turbo power down low, and sometimes if it's tuned right, you have the turbo power up top. But then with the electric motors, the all-wheel drive system, any flat spot, the electronics kick in and make it just super smooth and a lot of power all the time. I'd love to see this thing against the 650S and really see the addition of all the electronics in this car, how it stacks up against a larger engine with twin turbos. But that acceleration is unreal. That's incredible. It sounds really good too. I know a lot of people say these things don't sound that good, but from inside at least, it sounded pretty sweet. There are aftermarket exhaust systems. You can do stuff to make it even louder, but I am pretty impressed with this, especially at the price range, because it's practically brand new with 5,000 miles. Super clean looking car, very reliable, just being a Honda underneath. But the acceleration, wow. It just builds. You can really feel the power. Now we'll see if there is any more sound under a bridge real quick. nice bit of sound to it. So then on the highway, we'll just tone it down now, and we'll just stay in quiet mode. Everything is so much quieter now. The engine is off right now. I'm going about 40 miles an hour, just cruising on the highway. Got a little bit of traffic, but wind noise, road noise, I can hear a little hum of the electronics, like the motor spinning, but I'm just cruising now in a quiet electric EV car now. So finishing up just on the highway in electric mode, that is a cool sensation to just take a break from the car. But then back into Sport Plus mode, you downshift a few times and you give it some gas. Man, I mean, that gets you up to speed. It just goes. That's impressive. My emotions with this car, I'm kind of torn. I don't know what I truly think about it, because after driving the McLaren, I fell in love with it. I think everything about the car was amazing, and then the 458 just has so much to offer as well. With this one, I'm in the electric mode, cruising around town now. I'm really comfortable. These seats are way more comfortable than pretty much any other supercar. It's just an easy car to drive, but then is really fast at the same time. And then, I mean, again, there's no noise in this thing at all. The air conditioning is making the most noise aside from me talking right now. But I think with the 458 that I just drove, there's a lot of the emotion and drama in that. I don't really feel that in this car, and I see what people are saying when they drive this. They don't get that 100% connection with you making the car do it. This car, me pushing the gas pedal is making the car do whatever it wants to do. Not saying that's necessarily a bad thing or not. I think at the new car price point, it was a bad thing. That's why they didn't sell too well. But now, you know, for $150, you're getting a car that could be your only supercar. You might have just a normal car next to this, but this could be something you can drive a lot. You can put miles on it, go on road trips. You can kind of do anything in it, and then you can still hit the track, hit the mountains, and have a ton of fun. But I think now in the used market, that's when these things are really going to shine. And it's kind of unfortunate for Honda. They spent millions and millions developing this car, but I think they just did too much too soon to try to make it this budget hypercar when nobody was really looking for that. Alright, so we'll do a few last accelerations and then a sharp turn just to get a little bit more handling characteristics with it. Yeah, this thing... it's got a pretty good balance with the acceleration and the handling to it. It doesn't steer quite as direct as the Ferrari or the McLaren, so it is missing a little bit of that aspect. But the price point, this being used, that's the biggest thing of this video, is now at a used car, does it have what you want for the price you're paying? And honestly, I think it does. I think it is something very worth looking into. Might not be for everybody. It might not be raw and dramatic enough, being that it's a hybrid. It's not just a pure motor powering you with all this drama, or just a pure twin turbo engine. It has a lot of stuff going on to it. But overall, I think they're priced very well now, and this is definitely something that you should consider. Well guys, that about wraps up the Acura NSX. It's really awesome to be able to drive one of these things now. Huge thank you to Foreign Cars Charlotte for providing this car for today's video. They've had a lot of these in stock. They sell them pretty well, so they obviously are doing pretty good on the used market. Huge selection of used high-end exotic cars, and then a whole bunch of brand new Bentleys, Maseratis, Alfa Romeos, and Aston Martins. A huge thank you to them for providing this car. Definitely check out their website in the description below. Well, that wraps up today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a huge thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. We'll see you guys next video.